Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Data Camp tutorial series. I'm Professor Adam Kroom, and today we will focus on Intermediate R, Chapter 1. Chapter 1 focuses on conditionals and control flow. Equality. The most basic form of comparison is equality. Let's briefly recap its syntax. The following statements all evaluate to true. Feel free to try them out in the console. Notice from the last expression that R is case sensitive. R is not equal to lowercase r. Keep this in mind when solving the exercises in this chapter. Instructions. In the editor on the right, write R code to see if true equals false. Likewise, check if -6 times 14 is not equal to 17 minus 101. Next up, comparison of character strings. Ask R whether the strings use R and user are equal. Finally, find out what happens if you compare logicals to numerics. Are true and 1 equal? Okay, so let's go over here. Comparison of logicals. We want to see if true is equal to false. Next, comparison of numerics. We want to see if this is not equal to this. Next, comparison of character strings. We want to see if that is equal to that. And finally, compare a logical with a numeric. Awesome. Since true courses to 1 under the hood, true equals to 1 evaluates to true. Let's go ahead and continue to the next exercise. Greater than and less than. Apart from equality operators, Philip also introduced the less than and greater than operators. You can also add an equal sign to express less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, respectively. Have a look at the following R expressions that all evaluate to false. Remember that for string comparison, R determines the greater than relationship based on alphabetical order. Also keep in mind that true is treated as 1 for arithmetic and false is treated as 0. Therefore, false is less than true is true. Instructions. Write R expressions to check whether -6 times 5 plus 2 is greater than or equal to -10 plus 1. Raining is less than or equal to raining dogs. True is greater than false. Okay, so let's go over here to the right. So let's go ahead and copy and paste. Comparison of character strings. Rating less than equal to raining dogs. And finally, comparison of logicals, true, greater than, false. Submit answer. Great job. Make sure to have a look at the console output to see if R returns the results you expected. Let's go ahead and continue to the next exercise. Compare vectors. You are already aware that R is very good with vectors. Without having to change anything about the syntax, R's relational operators also work on vectors. Let's go back to the example that was started in the video. You want to figure out whether your activity on social media platforms have paid off and decide to look at your results for LinkedIn and Facebook. The sample code in the editor initializes the vectors LinkedIn and Facebook. Each of the vectors contains the number of profile views your LinkedIn and Facebook profiles have had over the last 7 days. Instructions. Using relational operators, find a logical answer, true or false, for the following questions. On which days did the number of LinkedIn profile views exceed 15? When was your LinkedIn profile viewed only 5 times or fewer? When was your LinkedIn profile visited more often than your Facebook profile? Okay, so first we want to go over here under popular days, LinkedIn greater than 15. Quiet days, LinkedIn less than or equal to 5. And LinkedIn more popular than Facebook, we'll go LinkedIn greater than Facebook. Submit answer. Wonderful. Have a look at the console output. Your LinkedIn profile was pretty popular on the 6th day, but less so on the 4th and 5th day. Press enter to continue. Compare matrices. R's ability to deal with different data structures for comparisons does not stop at vectors. Matrices and relational operators also work together seamlessly. Instead of in vectors, as in the previous exercise, the LinkedIn and Facebook data is now stored in a matrix called views. The first row contains the LinkedIn information. The second row, the Facebook information. The original vectors, Facebook and LinkedIn, are still available as well. Instructions. Using the relational operators you've learned so far, try to discover the following. When were the views exactly equal to 13? Use the views matrix to return a logical matrix. For which days were the number of views less than or equal to 14? Again, have R return a logical matrix. All right, so let's go over here. Under when does views equal 13? We'll go views equals 13. When is views less than or equal to 14? So we'll go views less than equal to 14. And let's submit our answer. Nice job. This exercise concludes the part on comparators. Now that you know how to query the relation between our objects, the next step will be to use the results to alter the behavior of your programs. Find out all about that in the next video. So what we'll do is we will skip past the video. You can watch it on your own, but for the purposes of this tutorial, we'll just focus on the exercises. Okay, next exercise is and. Before you work your way through the next exercises, have a look at the following R expressions. All of them will evaluate to true. Watch out. This, to check if X is between 3 and 7, will not work. You'll need this. for that. In this exercise, you'll be working with the last variable. This variable equals the last value of the LinkedIn vector that you've worked with previously. The LinkedIn vector represents the number of LinkedIn views your profile had in the last 7 days. Remember? Both the variables LinkedIn and last have already been defined in the editor. Instructions. Write our expressions to solve the following questions concerning the variable last. Is last under 5 or above 10? Is last between 15 and 20, excluding 15 but including 20? All right, so let's go over here. Is last under 5 or above 10? So we'll go last less than 5, last greater than 10. Next is last between 15 exclusive and 20 inclusive. So we'll go last greater than 15 ampersand last less than equal to 20. Submit answer. Oops, made a mistake right here. So if you look right here, I accidentally, when I didn't hit when I hit shift, I accidentally released it before it moved up from a comma to the less than. So make sure that you're not speeding through and that you check your solutions very carefully. Great. So we got that right. Great. Have one last look at the console before proceeding. Do the results of the different expressions make sense? Cool. So let's go ahead and continue now. Next is part 2. Like relational operators, logical operators work perfectly fine with vectors and matrices. Both the vectors LinkedIn and Facebook are available again. Also, a matrix views has been identified or defined. Its first and second row correspond to the LinkedIn and Facebook vectors, respectively. Ready for some advanced queries to gain more insights into your social outreach? Instructions. When did LinkedIn views exceed 10? And did Facebook views fail to reach 10 for a particular day? Use the LinkedIn and Facebook vectors. When were one or both of your LinkedIn and Facebook profiles visited at least 12 times? When is the views matrix equal to the number between 11 and 14, excluding 11 and including 14? Okay, so let's go over here. LinkedIn exceeds 10, but Facebook below 10. So we'll go LinkedIn greater than 10, ampersand, Facebook less than 10. When were one or both visited at least 12 times. So we'll go LinkedIn, and this is greater than or equal to 12, and Facebook greater than or equal to 12. Next, when is views between 11 exclusive and 14 inclusive? So we'll go ahead and type views greater than 11 and ampersand views less than equal to 14. Submit answer. Bravo. You'll have noticed how easy it is to use logical operators to vectors and matrices. What do these results tell us? the third day of the recordings was the only day where your LinkedIn profile was visited more than 10 times, while your Facebook profile wasn't. Can you draw similar conclusions for the other results? Continue. All right, so reverse the result. On top of these operators, you also learned about this operator, which negates logical value to refresh your memory. Here are some R expressions that use this. They all evaluate to false. What would the following set of R expressions return? And here are our possible answers. So let's go false. Great. Press enter to continue. Next exercise, blend it all together. With the things you've learned by now, you're able to solve pretty cool problems. Instead of recording the number of views for your own LinkedIn profile, suppose you conducted a survey inside the company you're working for. You've asked every employee with a LinkedIn profile how many visits their profile has had over the past 7 days. You stored the results in a data frame called this. This data frame is available in the workspace. Type this in the console to check it out. Instructions. Select the entire second column named day 2 from this data frame as a vector and assign it to second. Use second to create a logical vector that contains true if the corresponding number of views is strictly greater than 25 or strictly lower than 5 and false otherwise. Store this logical vector as extremes. Finally, use some function on the extremes vector to calculate the number of trues and extremes. Simply print this number to the console. Okay, so let's do that. Select the second column named day 2 from li_df. So we'll go boom, li_df. We use brackets, boom, and day 2. Build a logical vector true if value in second is extreme. Okay, so we'll go extremes. Second greater than 25. Second less than 5. Count the number of trues and extremes. So we'll go sum function extremes. Submit answer. Great. Head over to the next video and learn how relational and logical operators can be used to alter the flow of your R scripts. All right, so we'll continue. And again, we'll advance past the video to the next exercise. The if statement. Before diving into some exercises on the if statement, have another look at its syntax, shown here. Remember your vectors with social profile views? Let's look at it from another angle. The medium variable gives information about the social website. The num_views variable denotes the actual number of views that particular medium had on the last day of your recordings. Both of these variables have already been defined in the editor. Instructions. Examine the if statement that prints out this, showing LinkedIn information if the medium variable equals LinkedIn. Code an if statement that prints you are popular to the console if the num_views variable exceeds 15. Okay, So let's go ahead and look over here on the right. Okay, cool. If print, okay. So write the if statement for num underscore views. Okay, so we're gonna go if num underscore views greater than 15. All right, and then this print you are popular and let's try that. Submit answer. Great. Try to see what happens if you change the medium and num underscore views variables and run your code again. Let's further customize these if statements in the next exercise. Cool. Let's continue to the next exercise. Add an else. You can only use an else statement in combination with an if statement. The else statement does not require a condition. Its corresponding code is simply run if all of the preceding conditions in the control structure are false. Here's a recipe for its usage, shown here. It's important that the else keyword comes on the same line as the closing bracket of the if part. Both if statements that you coded in the previous exercises are already available in the editor. It's now up to you to extend them with the appropriate else statements. Instructions. Add an else statement to both control structures such that unknown medium gets printed out to the console when the if condition on medium does not hold. R prints out try to be more visible when the if condition on num underscore views is not met. Okay, so let's go over to the right. Let's take a look at this. Okay. All right, so else print unknown medium and that and if num else print try to be more visible. All right, let's try that. Great job. You also had Facebook information available, remember? Time to add some more statements to our control structures using Elseif. Press enter to continue. Customize further, Elseif. The else if statement allows you to further customize your control structure. You can add as many else if statements as you like. Keep in mind that R ignores the remainder of the control structure once a condition has been found that is true and the corresponding expressions have been executed. Here's an overview of the syntax to freshen your memory. Again, it's important that the else if keywords come on the same line as the closing bracket of the previous part of the control construct. Instructions. Add code to both control structures such that R prints out showing Facebook information if medium is equal to Facebook. Remember that R is case sensitive. Your number of views is average is printed if num underscore views is between 15 inclusive and 10 exclusive. Feel free to change the variables medium and num underscore views to see how the control structure respond. In both cases, the existing code should be extended in the else if statement. No existing code should be modified. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it says add code to print correct string when condition is true. So we want to go print showing Facebook information, else print unknown medium. Okay, and then if print your popular, else if add code to print correct string when condition is true. So we want to print your number of views is average. Else print try to be more visible. All right, let's try that. Submit answer. Awesome. Have another look at the second control structure. Because R abandons the control flow as soon as it finds a condition that is met, you can simplify the condition for the else if part in the second construct to num underscore views is greater than 10. Press enter to continue. All right. So, else if 2.0, you can do anything you want inside if else constructs. You can even put in another set of conditional statements. Examine the following code chunk right here. Have a look at the following statements. 1. If number is set to 6, small gets printed to the console. 2. If number is set to 100, R prints out medium. 3. If number is set to 4, extra small gets printed out to the console. 4. If number is set to 2500, R will generate an error. As result will not be defined. Got a text real quick, so sorry. Okay. Select the option that lists all the true statements. Okay, so we have to figure out which one of those statements is true. 1, if number is set to 6, small gets printed to the console. And 3, if number is set to 4, extra small gets printed out to the console. Wonderful. If you got this one right, the next exercise will be a piece of cake. So we'll press enter to continue. Take control. In this exercise, you will combine everything that you've learned so far. Relational operators, logical operators, and control constructs. You'll need it all. In the editor, we've coded 2 values beforehand. This and this for LinkedIn and Facebook, denoting the number of profile views your LinkedIn and Facebook profile had on the last day of recordings. go through the instructions to create our code that generates a social media score, SMS, based on the values of LI and FB. Instructions. Finish the control flow construct with the following behavior. If both LI and FB are 15 or higher, set SMS equal to double the sum of LI and FB. If both LI and FB are strictly below 10, set SMS equal to half the sum of LI and FB. In all other cases, set SMS equal to LI plus FB. Finally, print the resulting SMS variable to the console. All right, so let's go over here and see what's going on. So let's code the control flow construct. So we got to fill in these blanks, right? Li, let's see. If Li is greater than 15 and FB is greater than 15, then SMS 2 times Li plus FB. And then on line 8, this is else if. And then in here, it's Li less than 10, percent FB less than 10. See, that looks good. Else, SMS. Here is, change this to Li plus FB. And keep going down. And then the last thing, we have to just print. Make sure you don't forget. Sometimes it's easy to forget the last part. So just make sure to print that. SMS for social media score. Submit answer. Bellissimo. Feel free to play around some more with your solution by changing the values of Li and FB.